So we're going to be talking about planes and is it safe to fly from England to a different country in 2020? Since the lifting of restrictions, we've all had to adapt to a new normal. Everything we do now almost requires us to second guess what we're about to do and question ourselves, is this safe? This is certainly a big question when it comes to flying, especially as holidays abroad have been back on the agenda for the last few months. So, is it safe to fly? Let's talk about airports first. Thousands of people are still coming and going through UK airports, which can make it a busy place and can make airports a higher risk of infection. But airports, like most places, have upped their game when it comes to disinfecting and keeping people safe. I looked at the two biggest airports in London, Heathrow and Gatwick, to give you an idea, and other airports I'm sure will be following similar guidelines. According to Heathrow Airport's website, which I will link below, has introduced the presence of doctors, additional staff, and the provision of information leaflets to keep you in the know of how to keep safe, as well as hand sanitizer stations located throughout the airport. The additional colleagues will be at hand to manage queues, provide more space for social distancing where required, and for your own personal safety and theirs, they will be wearing face masks. They have also been retrained to serve as hygiene technicians to answer any questions you may have regarding your safety in the airport. According to the Evening Standard, Heathrow Airport has deployed ultraviolet cleaning robots that use UV rays to kill off harmful bacteria and viruses of commonly used surfaces such as moving handrails, lift buttons, trolley handles, and security trays. Gatwick has gone down a similar line with airport staff wearing face masks, hand sanitizer stations located throughout the airport, protective screens at check-in and boarding gates, and in some places one-way flows to avoid unnecessary contact. Gatwick Airport are also trialing temperature checks, however you may not come across this on your journey. It sounds like it could be a random selection, a bit like getting checked for explosives on your person, which I generally get checked for almost every time I go through an airport. Both airports also state that passengers should be wearing masks at all times too, so make sure you bring them along with you. Plane cleanliness. This is where people get anxious. Cooped up in a plane with 150 people sounds like a war zone during a pandemic. But first, let me debunk the recycled aeroplane air for you. Modern aeroplanes are likely to be fitted with HEPA air filters, high efficiency particulate arresters, which remove particles in the air even down to the size of microscopic bacteria and virus clusters of an efficiency of 99.99%. Some airlines say 99.97%, but you get the point. The air you breathe on an airplane is effectively cleaner than the air you breathe at a concert hall. The air of the aeroplane is also renewed fairly often, every 2 to 3 minutes mathematically speaking, so every 20 to 30 times per hour the air is renewed around you. There was a couple of case studies that will hopefully put your mind more at rest. Back in 2018, a model case study, not real life but on a computer, was conducted and found that if someone was sitting on a plane with a droplet-mediated respiratory infectious disease like COVID-19, it is unlikely to be directly transmitted beyond 1 meter. So who would be most at risk? The 2 rows of seats in front of the infected passenger and the 2 rows of seats behind the infected passenger. A couple of years prior to this, a research found that people had boarded a plane with the generic flu and SARS and had infected a number of people well outside the 2 rows. However, no hard evidence found it spread through the air, but it could have been carried by crew members moving around a lot, catching the virus before or after boarding the flight, or touching a contaminated surface. But ending on a positive note, public health officials in Canada actually found no further infections on a flight this year when 2 people boarded on a plane with 350 people on board, and the flight lasted for 15 hours. On that note, I looked into 3 separate airlines to see what they are doing to help their customers feel safe. British Airways, EasyJet, and Ryanair expect to wear a face mask at all times, and all crew members will also be wearing a mask. British Airways also offer a personal protection pack containing an antibacterial wipe and hand sanitizer gel, and all 3 airlines have a cleaning process. British Airways state that they disinfect every key surface between flights from nose to tail, as well as your seating area, including your seat, seatbelt, screen, and tray. EasyJet include additional cleaning and disinfection procedures for aircraft cabins on top of an existing daily cleaning schedule, and Ryanair disinfect interior surfaces every night using chemicals which are effective for over 24 hours. Each airline has also stated the air quality, you know, the HEPA air filters we talked about earlier, 99.9% for BA, 99.97% for EasyJet, and Ryanair with an efficiency of better than 99.99%. Now that's some impressive HEPA air filters. And last but not least, Ryanair has also stated you need permission to go to the toilet. What can you do to help stop the spread? So guys, this is a global battle and we can all do our part to keep the virus at bay. And here are a few things you can do to keep yourself safe. Do your own research. Look at the websites of the airports and the airlines you'll be using and what they do to keep you safe. Carry your own face masks, carry your own hand sanitizer and make sure it's no more than 100 milliliters or you won't get it past security. Carry antibacterial wipes to wipe your seats down. Keep your distance as much as possible. Check in online, print your own boarding pass or download it onto your phone. If you can't do that, use self-check-in stations at the airport for minimal person-to-person contact and wash your hands after use. Use contactless payment if buying anything. Don't congregate in areas. If you feel the queue to board the flight is too busy, then step aside and wait till it calms down. That plane is not going anywhere without you. Try not to move around too much on the plane. Go to the toilet before you board so you won't have to use the bathrooms on the plane. Gloves are here and there in my opinion. If you wear them, change them often, which would be the same as washing your hands often. It's up to you, just don't touch your face or your personal items when wearing them. So the answer, is it safe to fly? It's up to you if you feel safe. The WHO and the EASA, not ESAS. Anyway, have been working with airlines to make sure you can still travel and feel safe while doing so. If you personally don't feel safe, then that's okay. Don't be forced into something you don't want to do. Now listen guys, I have a video suggested for you on your screen now on if travel insurance covers you if you do decide to fly, so make sure you check that one out. Otherwise, I will catch you in the next one.